Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. What's up?
Nothing much, just busy morning. It's gonna be a busy day for me, but it's been going good.
What you got going on?
After this, I'm going straight to the Denver Art Museum.
Oh, that's fun.
Literally, maybe an hour and a half ago, but it was like, hey, we're going to the art museum. There's some cool exhibits, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll go. And then later tonight at like 6, I'm going to a game night of a friend as well. So it's just like back to back. And then I was wanting to fit in disc golfing somewhere, but I do that now. So yeah. And then tomorrow's Easter.
Yes.
So a buddy invited KK and I over to his parents' place, and I don't exactly know what people do for Easter, but
Egg hunt.
I'll find out. Maybe egg hunt. I hope there's
Egg painting.
maybe egg painting. Yeah.
Or I guess egg dyeing. You don't use paint for that.
Yeah. True. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It was snowing all day yesterday, but it's almost completely cleared up at this point.
I know. So crazy.
You had that volleyball tournament last weekend
I did. Yeah.
that I helped line ref at one point.
So my whole team decides to leave because they're like, fuck it, we're out of here because we lost. Not because we weren't good enough, but because our 7th member didn't show up, so it ruined everything. So Jose, if you're listening, I'm calling you out. You're a dick. Yeah, and then my whole team left, and then the team, the refs come to me. They're like, hey, we need you guys to do, line judging, scorecard, help, the up ref, down ref. I was like, well, my whole team left. They're like, you're gonna find someone. So I found Cayman, and luckily KK, my girlfriend, she knew how to do the scorecard thing, which is like the hardest part. And then I was down ref, and then we got two people from another team to help with scorecard and something else.
And I think the other line on the other side.
Yeah, so Cayman was put on like the line to make sure, like with a flag to let us know if it's in or out or if it was a touch. And apparently
I think if I had another chance, it'd be a little easier. But first time, rough.
I remember like looking at the up ref. These are like professionals. This is what they do. I like look at the up ref, and she's like looking at Cayman. She's like, it was pretty funny.
Not what I was expecting to do that day.
No, yeah. But yeah, that was a interesting day, interesting morning, I would say.
How's work been?
Work's been good. On what day was that? Tuesday? I don't know. Sometime last week. I don't know what day that was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My firm, we won a project up in Greeley, Colorado, which is kind of like southeast of Fort Collins.
Okay.
We won a $1.1 billion project there, which is pretty cool. It's like a huge entertainment project. It's like 3 sheets of ice, 1 professional size. They're like all arenas, and then you have hotel things, and then you have like an indoor water park kind of thing with like slides and stuff. And that's for Greeley, which if you know Greeley, there's nothing in Greeley.
I don't know Greeley.
Exactly. Not even on the map, but this will put it on the map. Yeah, so that happened, and the project's kicking off, and I'll be on that project here next week. We got the kickoff meeting on Monday, and then we're kind of going from there, which is exciting because the projects that I have been working on, one was a water treatment building, one is an outdoor. Well, okay, these are the current projects I'm working on. I'm a CA on water treatment building, an outdoor arena, as well as a restroom MDF building. So those are ongoing currently. That's what I'm CAing for. And then the other project that I'll be leaving is the Kentucky Derby project, where I was on the infield GA portion, making these noodle buildings that are like neutrals, restrooms, and a bar. So I'll be leaving that, thankfully, because both projects that I was working on, I kept making jokes. It's like, I'm just working on 2 CMU restroom buildings, which is true. I was. But no, work is good. Love it there. Yeah. How about you?
Pretty good. I've got a project going out on Monday, and then another project that got put on pause because it might get bigger. So they're like, we're thinking about it.
Cool. Wait, was the project that is going out on Monday the one that was supposed to go out on Friday? Did you get all the consultant stuff?
It was always planned to go out on Monday. The problem is I had a consultant say that they weren't going to send us their stuff until Monday afternoon. So I was like, it's going out on Monday. We can't do that.
Did you get them to send over all the stuff? Are they working over the weekend or?
They said that they would have it to me first thing Monday morning. I was like, still pushing it, but that'll work.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Sometimes in our profession, man, these people really do like to play the games of like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and even my my program manager, because this is apparently not new for this particular consultant.
I doubt it.
She was like, if they're saying that they are not going to finish today, that means that they haven't even started looking at it yet.
Unreal. Unreal. But sounds like you got a good amount of things rolling. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What are we talking about today? What are we doing?
Well, today we're going to be talking about the 2025 movie, Mickey 17. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first 2025 movie we're talking about.
I think you're right. Because the one prior to, which I thought was from 25, was actually from 24.
Yeah.
So I think it is.
Because we talked about a lot of Oscar movies, but the 2025 Oscars is only for 2024 movies.
Right.
So I think this is actually the first movie we're talking about that came out this year.
Yay.
But it was directed by Bong Joon-ho and written by Bong Joon-ho based off of a novel by Edward Ashton, and stars Robert Pattinson and Steven Yeun.
I can't believe it has Edward in there.
I feel like Robert Pattinson has, at least for me, moved past Twilight.
Not for me.
I think
He'll always be Edward.
I feel like in middle school, I always thought about him as like the Twilight guy, but then he's just been like, after Twilight, everything he's done has been so good. I'm like, he's a good actor.
He is a good actor. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
This movie had an estimated budget of $118 million, and I think it's still in theaters. So I'm going to say so far it has made $130 million. So not quite into the profits yet, but still some time.
Nice. Damn, 118 million. That's a lot.
It's an expensive movie. It's a pretty I'd say visual effects heavy movie, which can get expensive. So I'd bet that's part of it.
What was the income? What did they get from it?
130 million worldwide. That's why I said so far, because if it's still in theaters, it still has some time to make some money. I don't know how much longer it's going to be in theaters, but
I don't know if it's gonna double.
No,
like 118.
Well, it's honestly, I feel like a pretty, like, not that there aren't any advertisements about it, but I feel like it's not really widespread. You know, like people aren't talking about it a whole.
That's true. That's true. What movie are people talking about currently? I don't know if any.
I don't know, actually.
I haven't heard anything about any movie. I know. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess the latest thing that I heard was about that Minecraft movie.
Oh yeah, the Minecraft movie just came out.
Not because it's like good,
right? But just because it's like a big name.
Well, yeah, no, it's like the theater thing that's been happening. You heard about that? It's like the Minecraft thing that's like in a rodeo or whatever. And apparently, when that happens, like people in the movie theater start like throwing
there's a rodeo in a movie.
Yeah. It's like a Minecraft character that gets on like a Minecraft bowl.
Okay.
And there's a name for this thing. And everyone in the theater, like some kids apparently started this, just like throw like slushies at like the screen and throw popcorn everywhere, and that sounds wild. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Why can't it just go back to the days where people just like dress up to go to the movies?
That'd be nice.
Like, what was it? There was a movie a couple years ago where it was like everyone thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the world to like wear a tuxedo to the movie theater.
I don't know, but I feel like it would have been proper for Oppenheimer.
And so you'd see like pictures of like a bunch of like 17-year-olds just like in tuxes at the movie theater up like,
Oh, I do remember that. I don't remember what it was. Wasn't it Oppenheimer?
what? I don't think so.
Because people dressed up for Oppenheimer and then they dressed up for Barbie.
I do remember people dressing up for Barbie. I don't know.
Anyway, dress up for movies more often, guys.
But yeah, so what did you think about Mickey 17?
I thought it was pretty good. I think it was a fun watch. I wouldn't say it was like extraordinary or like, mind blowing for me. But I wouldn't say it was a bad movie. I wouldn't say it was the greatest. I think it's like right there, middle of the road. I did like the CGI effects of it. I like the thought, like experiment behind the movie plot. And I think overall, like it made sense to me. Like the execution of like what they were trying to get through story wise worked well.
Okay. I am pretty close to the same on that. I feel like I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it was particularly deep in terms of like meaning or anything like that. It was just like just a fun little watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there was no deep meaning, I wouldn't think. But I mean, however many years down the road where something like this is actually possible, like,
Well, this
I really did enjoy
this
like,
movie takes place in 2054, so apparently less than 30 years from now.
in 30 years. No, I don't know. I think I did enjoy like the legal aspect behind this movie plot. I did enjoy that a lot. Like just that thought of like, ooh, like what do you do?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat.
All right. Well, I guess if you want to give a spoiler warning, we'll get into our summary.
Can do. Listeners, viewers, YouTube people, Spotify, just naming a few of the items where you can listen to this on. If you don't want this movie spoiled, potentially hit pause, go watch it, come back, hit play, and then listen to us.
You can either go out to the theater and see it, or it's available on Amazon. I think you can get it on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
It's a couple places streaming.
Highly recommend. I mean, it's a fun watch. I don't think it's too long, right? What was it? 2 hours and 20? I guess that's pretty long.
I've already closed it, but yeah, about that length.
Yeah, it's somewhere there. But yeah. If you don't want the movie spoiled, don't listen. Here we go.
All right. Well, in the year 2054, apparently humanity has developed two very revolutionary pieces of technology.
Huge.
Like giant spaceships that are allowing people to colonize other planets, and also this like body printing machine.
Yeah, it's a 3D printer for the body.
Yeah. Which I would assume, like, we only see it in the movie being used for the Expendables, but like I would imagine you could also just like, I don't know, like print a new arm. Like if someone had a amputation or something like that.
How would they do that? I guess like
You just like stick your
arm in there and then like it prints it onto your body.
that feels like it should be
That'd be
possible.
nuts. That'd be so cool.
That'd be really cool.
Or like print a new heart if you need a new heart and then you do have heart surgery and
There you go. We can just print body parts.
so
Definitely would revolutionize medicine.
oh yeah.
But yeah, so
But they were fleeing Earth, right? Because
well, the larger group was going to a different planet because the person who was running this expedition was like some failed politician, and then in order to sort of make himself seem better was like, I'm gonna start a colony on another planet, and a bunch of people decided to follow him.
they were like, sounds good.
Meanwhile, Robert Pattinson's character Mickey has gone into debt with his friend against some like huge crime boss, and so they like get kidnapped at one point, and he's like, no matter where you go, we'll chase you to the ends of the earth. And so they're like, well, let's just leave Earth.
They were gonna kill them, right? I believe.
Yeah.
They were just gonna kill them.
Because they had borrowed money to open a macaron shop.
Macaroon, no?
Macarons and macaroons, different cookies.
Really?
Yeah.
What is the difference? Dio?
I get them confused. So
It's like puffy.
yeah, one's like a puffy, like egg white kind of a thing, and then the other one is like the two cookies with a little bit of cream in the middle.
Ah, okay.
But I don't remember which one is which right offhand.
Oh, okay. Neat.
But yeah, so they are signed up to be on this expedition. His friend Timo manages to get a job at as a pilot because he like just recently got his license. But Mickey says he doesn't have any like actual skills, so the only thing he can sign up for is to be an expendable, which is like you get your brain scanned and then they basically just make you do a bunch of really dangerous shit, and then if you die, they can just reprint you.
Yeah, your brain and body, but like they store all your thoughts on like this like brick hard drive,
It literally looks like a brick.
which I thought was hilarious. And then yeah, like him had said, they either they die and they just get reprinted, or which is the question of like when they die out there, and how do they get those memories?
I think there's like
Always go and get the bodies again.
I don't know. I think they did explain, but I'm trying to remember. I think there's some way that like there's like a chip or something that is recording his memories and like transferring them back to the ship so that when he gets reprinted, they can put those memories back in.
Gotcha. And I guess they don't go through the memories because then they would have known that 17 didn't die.
Well, they obviously don't care about him that much. So
They don't care about this guy at all.
I don't.
felt so bad for him throughout the whole movie. I was like, this poor guy is just getting shit on.
So yeah, he signs up to be an expendable, goes on this mission to a planet called Niflheim, and ends up dying at least 16 times. And then when they land, he falls into an ice crevasse because Niflheim is basically a frozen tundra.
Yeah.
And then there's the like giant bug creatures that everyone assumes is dangerous.
They're like huge roly-polies.
Right. But like creepier.
Yeah, they're like, I don't even know what you would even compare it to. If you like think about cow udders and then you morph it with roly-poly and make it huge.
And like a few like tentacles.
Yes. Yeah. Weird thing.
So weird animal, but falls into this hole, and then Timo, because he's the worst friend ever, is like, I'm just gonna let you die. They'll reprint you, whatever.
Yeah, he like goes down there to retrieve the fire extinguisher, or flamethrower, and then he's like, "Oh, like my line doesn't actually go that far, but like you'll die here, and I'll just see you at home base again."
Yeah,
dude, like this poor dude is like he's living. Obviously, he's feeling all these things, and it's like you're just gonna let him die. It's just so fucked up.
But so these creatures come out and he assumes that they're going to kill him, but then it turns out they like just drag him around and like take him back out some other hole.
Yeah, the mama of them all like drags him with his feet, and he thought like the little ones were just gonna eat him and she's gonna like use him for food.
Yeah.
But no, she like just grabs his feet and like pulls him out of the hole, and like at one point to get out of the cave, they like use their bodies to like go underneath and like push him up practically. And then
he manages to hitch a ride back to the base, just like some random car driving by.
they didn't hear him.
He just jumped on.
Jump on and make it back.
But obviously they assumed that he was dead. So during that whole thing, they went ahead and printed out another version. So now there are two Mickeys.
17 and 18 at this.
Right. Which we find out that having multiple copies of one person is illegal. And so like the rule is if at any time there are like multiples like that, you just kill both of them, and like it's completely, there's no takesy backsies.
Yeah, and that's because on Earth, one of the scientists like created this reprint of himself 3 times.
Yeah,
3 times
become a serial killer.
to become a serial killer. Well, one of them. Wait, were they all serial killers or just one of them? Right?
I think. Well, okay, so one of the way that it was originally, because they originally thought it was just 2, and one of them was going around killing homeless people and then would use the other one as an alibi. They figured that out, arrested those 2, and then while those 2 were in prison, a third one went and killed another homeless person.
Okay, yeah. So maybe they were all just cracked out of their mind and evil.
So they were like, we're not doing this anymore. No one's allowed to have more than one version of themselves.
Yeah.
And so this obviously becomes a big problem, because if Mickey gets discovered, then he's dead. Meanwhile, his girlfriend, Nasha, is trying to, because there's this whole like weird love triangle for a little bit.
For a little while. And then it almost became like a quad. Love square.
We could talk more about that later. But Nasha, is trying to make sure that they don't get discovered, but at the same time, because Mickey 18 is like more aggressive and is really mad at, I think his name is Marshall, the leader of this expedition, and wants to go try and kill him. Oh, because, sorry, right before that, Mickey 17 gets dragged into a dinner where they're like pretending that he's being celebrated, and they're like, oh, you're the lucky winner, you get to eat dinner with Marshall. And then it turns out they put a bunch of drugs in his food to basically run tests on him.
And then like after he had like major stomach pains, they proceeded to run an experimental drug on him too.
Yeah.
Hitler,
Right.
which made it even worse.
Yeah.
Poor.
So yeah, after figuring out about that torture, Mickey 18 is like, I'm gonna go murder this motherfucker. And they get caught because it's like in the middle of this huge crowd, and get locked up along with Nasha. They, I think, manage to escape because at the same time, Timo has found a letter from the crime boss back on Earth saying, hey, I've got someone on that ship. You haven't escaped me.
Yeah.
He was like, the only way that I will erase this debt is if you kill someone and cut them up into a bunch of tiny pieces. And so,
How many pieces? Like 12 or
something like that.
I mean, nuts.
So he goes to the prison where Nasha and the 2 Mickeys are locked up, and is like, just let me cut one of you up. You're fine. Like, you die all the time. He tries to take one of them out to kill. He tries to take Mickey 17 out originally, and then 18 is like, just kill me. This guy's a wimp.
Yeah.
And then manages to, it's Timo and then some other guy that he's working with, manages to beat him up and get the key off of him. So then they escape, but then like get captured immediately again by some military people.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that while all of this was because I'm getting so mixed up in my head. But yeah, when 18 was trying to kill Marshall, at the same time, one of the creepers, which is what they call the little alien things, managed to get inside the ship, and
What did it manage? It was brought into.
well, it was like inside of a rock, and they brought the rock into the ship.
Yeah. Idiots brought a rock into the ship, and then they proceeded to saw it in half because he wanted to make it like a plaque.
Yeah.
And then apparently it was like a little maybe hidey hole for one of the little creatures, and it like came out like, oh, okay, what's this? There's 2 of them.
Yes. Yeah, because they captured one and they shot the other.
They fucking shot the shit out.
Shot it to bits. So yeah, after they killed that one, all of the other creepers start like circling around the ship, and everyone thinks that it's about to be like this huge war and whatever. And so they're like prepping to launch this like nerve gas or whatever to kill all of the creepers.
Nerve gas that they created by testing it on Mickey, by the way.
Right. Marshall's wife is like trying to figure out different like ways to make because the food that they have on the ship is absolutely disgusting.
Like different sauces.
Yeah, and she's obsessed with sauce, and so just like she's like, I just need to find a good sauce.
Yeah.
And ends up like on the creeper that they captured.
It's a baby creeper, by
Yeah.
the way.
So there's like really, really big ones, and there's ones that are like, I don't know, like that big.
Yeah.
And cuts off its tail. Like pulls the tail out and fucking puts it in like a magic bullet blender.
Blends it up, and then like without doing any tests on it, nothing like that, like gives it to her husband to try, which I thought was fucking nuts.
Wild.
He was like, yeah.
So then they decide, rather than immediately killing Mickey 17 and 18, they're going to send them out to collect more tails to make more sauce.
Yeah.
And they put bomb vests on them, so they're like, if you go too far, it blows up. If you don't come back, we'll blow you up.
It was like whichever one collects 100 tails first,
Right.
and comes back.
Guess that's survive.
Survive. The other one blows up.
And so they send them out there. And meanwhile, okay, so one of the scientist people, who I have her name written down, but I don't remember it right offhand, but she has like created this sort of communication translation device.
Yeah.
And so gives that to 17, and he goes out and talks to the like super mama creeper, and she's basically like, we are gonna kill everyone unless you bring my other baby back.
Yeah.
And so he manages to get a message back to Nasha, because earlier on in the movie we see they like made little doodles of different sex positions, and one of them was called Bring the Baby. And so I think it was like 3C or something like that. And so he just like starts yelling 3C at the camera that's watching them.
He's like,
so Nasha manages to convince the like military people that are there that they need to get the baby back out, and that will stop this whole conflict.
Yeah.
They are also like, there's this separate like coup plot happening with the military where they're trying to overthrow the marshal because he's
crazy.
He's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. They're like recording everything,
Yeah.
and like sending it back to Earth to have the legal whatever team look at it. And
yeah. So managed to take the baby out, but at the same time, Marshall goes out because after seeing that Mickey 17 is communicating, they're like, well, you should be communicating with them. It would be such a heroic moment for you to give a speech to these creatures before we kill all of them. And so he goes out with this camera crew, and I get sensing that there was danger. They like do this thing where all of the smaller creepers like make these huge huddles so that you can't tell where the mama creeper is. That was pretty cool.
like they like make their own bowl
Yeah.
around the mama creeper, and then replicated that around the site, so they didn't know where to shoot.
Right. Because they had like a rocket launcher with the nerve gas in it. And so while all of this nonsense is happening, Mickey 18 manages to get onto the vehicle that the marshal was on, and like he has this little arm cuff thing, I don't know what you call it.
It's like the two buttons.
Yeah, with a button for 17 and a button for 18, and 18 blows himself up with the marshal.
And he only did this because when they were talking with the mama creeper, she said that because they killed one of hers,
Right.
that they have to kill one of their own.
Yeah.
The human.
So it was bring my baby back and someone has to die.
So it has to die. Yeah. And I think he like looked over at the mama creeper right before he blew himself up, right?
I thought he was looking at the other Mickey, but I don't
I don't know. I thought he was like practically, I thought he said something around the lines of like, this is the one, or something like that. I don't know exactly, but
So yeah, so then after all of that, everything is basically good to the creepers, and I think his wife like gets sent to the psych ward or whatever and ends up killing herself. And Nasha gets elected to the council of whatever mabob, and they blow up the machine that reprints bodies so that her and Mickey can just like have a normal life.
yeah. He's not a replicator anymore, or a what's it called? Expendable anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's practically the whole movie.
So we'll take a quick break and then get into our review.
Let's do it. We're back. Yeah, where do we want to begin?
I guess I'll start with I feel like this should have been set further in the future. This seems a little ridiculous for the 2050s.
Yeah, I don't understand why they would have done that. It makes no sense.
I do think it's interesting the planet being called Niflheim, because that is in Norse mythology is one of the afterlives.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like you have like Valhalla for like people who die heroic deaths and thing like that, and
Yeah.
then like
warrior deaths.
right, and then like people who just like normally die, you go to Niflheim.
So no,
So it's like this planet is basically hell.
damn. I mean, it did look like hell. It was
Yeah.
just a
Well, it also is like in Norse mythology, Niflheim is a realm of ice.
Oh.
It's actually also, sorry, don't want to get too far into Norse mythology, but I just find it super interesting. But they're the two like primordial realms were Niflheim, which is ice, and then Muspelheim, which is a realm of fire. And the like creation myth in Norse mythology is that these two realms ended up colliding and they caused like a mystical steam, and that steam is what created everything else from the ice and the fire coming together.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I will say I think Stephen Yeun is really good at being a dick in this movie.
He's so good. He's a bunch of date. But like a low-key one.
He was like, I don't know, he felt like
He was like an idiot, you know? Like,
he was
selfish and doesn't understand other people's emotions. That,
I think he was just such an asshole.
I mean, yeah, but I think he's so oblivious to him being an asshole.
Maybe.
That's why I see him. I'm like, he's just a stupid bitch. I'd say.
But yes,
That's what I was talking about. My dude.
Marshall, played by Mark Ruffalo, definitely has some fake teeth
And fucking choppers on him.
and is very obviously like inspired by Donald Trump.
Oh my god, yeah, I wrote that out here.
Like they even like his followers have red hats.
Yeah. The Trump style speeches was
It
Perfect.
felt like Trump with like a little bit of Joel Osteen. I don't know if you know who that is. He's like one of the like those like mega church pastors where he has
no way.
his church is like the size of a fucking football stadium. And he's like makes billions of dollars.
Those churches I just don't understand. So,
But yeah, he definitely was quite a character as well. I felt like his character felt more like the stupid one to me. I feel like Timo felt like he was just an asshole. Marshall felt like he's just an idiot.
he is an asshole idiot. I mean, it's not like he was oblivious. And he had some rage issues too. His wife like always had to cool him down and pet him and make sure that he felt loved.
And he had that really during the dinner scene because one of the other characters, Kai, was also there. And he was like being really creepy with her and talking about like, you'd be the perfect specimen for our reproduction program.
So at first, like when they were in there and the way they talked to them, I thought that they wanted to have sex with both of them.
I never got the idea that they wanted to have sex with Mickey.
I did. I was like, I thought they were like talking about everyone together and like, I don't know. Like it was just weird that Nikki was there, and it was even more strange that she was invited.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh my god, like we need to make the perfect human specimen on this. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was very, very strange. Very.
But she stood her ground.
Yeah.
She did.
She was honestly like, I feel like
Like a normal human.
a good person.
Yeah.
Like I'm upset that we didn't get to see more of her. Like there was like the scene during the dinner and then like the whole weird thing with the threesome.
Yeah.
But then like after that, she's gone for like the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
Strange.
huh.
Like they did pretty good character development and then just cut her off.
Right.
They're like, No more funds.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, also speaking of the threesome, how I like it feels like such an awkward situation. Like I don't know how. Like, would you have a threesome with yourself?
So KK said something that like made me, the answer would be no, because she was like, well, what if you have a twin? Would you have sex with your twin? It's like, it's technically you looking at yourself, but they have their own like personality and thoughts.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And it's just like, ooh, like, no, probably not. No. And that's why he was getting jealous, because like the other Mickey had a different personality, different thoughts, different experiences, it felt like.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's my girlfriend, not yours. And it's like I get it.
She was totally into it though.
Oh my God, yeah. She was like, two of you? And then what happened?
Okay, so now with your twin, would you have sex with twins
Damn, I don't know, because like I might get jealous.
of them?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I guess if they're, I don't know. That's, if maybe, probably not though, because then it'd be incest.
For them, not for you.
Yeah, but then I would be partaking in incest. So no.
Okay, but if it was a clone, then it's not incest.
No, it's still family.
Are you family with yourself? I don't know if that's proper classification.
Well, again, this is the legal spectrum that I'm getting into, which I really enjoyed about the movie. I don't know. Would you?
I don't know.
I think the answer is yes.
I think
Totally would.
I think it was a freak in the sheets. I'm a freak. I think it would be easier if the other people were twins than if it was my twin. I'm not attracted to myself, so I feel like it's not like I think I'm ugly or anything. But
You're ugly.
but like if I saw my clone, I wouldn't be like.
It's so true. It's so true. I'd probably gag, look at myself. Yeah, I don't know. Would you do it with two twins?
I'd have to think about it.
That's a yes, because there's a possibility.
There is a possibility. I will say there is a like continuous thing in the movie where, and it like when other people do it, it feels like everyone just being a jerk, but like people are always asking Mickey what it feels like to die. And then the moment after he like, or I guess before he gets to, before the whole threesome thing, he's in Kai's room after the dinner, because he was like still feeling really shitty. And she also asks him, but it's like feels different. Whereas like, because everyone else is asking because they're just like, ooh, this is so cool. I'm gonna like, I'm just so curious. But I like when Kai is asking, it's like less about the morbid curiosity and more because earlier in the movie, her previous girlfriend they were in some cave and she got crushed by ice, which first of all, she was stupid. She shot ice in the ceiling of like, what did you expect to happen?
Yeah.
But was just trying to get some closure on like what this person felt in their last moments. So it felt like a more genuine question rather than just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Also, I guess talking about the legal stuff, I feel like it seems so crazy to me, the stuff that they are allowed to do to Mickey. Like, I feel like it's one thing to be like, it's okay if he dies, but I don't think that should make it okay to torture him.
I agree.
Because, like,
They were using him practically as a scientific tool.
if you torture someone and they don't die, that's not okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like the fact that he can come back from death doesn't make the torture okay. But yeah, it was just, they were doing some awful shit to him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's like the part where I was just like, I think I wrote in here, I literally said, oh man, they're using him as a tool, period. Like they don't see him as like a human anymore. They don't see him as like a living.
Well, I think there's even like in the beginning, there's a conference because in addition to Marshall, there's also like he's a politician, but there's also like this second guy. He was like the head of a church and the church was like funding him or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have a conference early on where I'm pretty sure they even specifically say that they think expendables are soulless.
Yeah.
So they just like don't think of them as people.
Yeah, which is nuts. But yeah, I mean, that whole part I did not agree with, but yeah.
But
Fun thought experiment, I will say. the whole legal remedies of like, oh, you can't have more than 2, or you can't have, only when they die reprint a new one, not multiples of the same thing. It reminds me of like, I forget what movie it is, but it's like they're in space and they have like these people like frozen, I guess, but like they're the same. And like when one of them like ages or dies because of radiation, one of the new ones comes and like takes your spot.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know what it's called, but good movie. Kind of gave me that same feeling.
There's also a movie called The Island. I think it's by Michael Bay, but it's like there's literally like there's an island of clones, and they're just there for spare body parts.
Oh,
So it's like you have people out in the real world, and then whenever they need an organ transplant, they hold a lottery on the island, and they're like, oh, you've been chosen to be sent to this fantastic place. And then they take those people out, kill them, and give their organs to the real person.
oh my God. I could see all that happening too, which is the shady part. I think it was amazing that she built a translator within a day.
Yes, also, her name is Dorothy. I do have it written here.
I'm amazed at Dorothy. She's just a genius.
She was also the only person that was nice to him the entire movie.
Nice to him and nice to the creatures.
Yeah. Like, we see, like, during the montage of, like, seeing all of the other Mickeys die, which, like, to be fair, I do wish we saw a little bit more of the other Mickeys, because I feel like those were fun sequences. We got, like,
Maybe
2 really good, yeah. Like, there was the one that got locked outside the spaceship to test radiation.
Now take your glove off. Which is crazy because, like, you can just not.
Yeah.
You're on a slave. You're going to die anyway. Why listen to him? Anyway.
And then we got several like scenes of the ones that were getting the nerve gas tested on him.
Yeah. Quite a few of them.
Yeah, because I think they said they went through 3 or 4 before they finally got that. And he also had to die a couple times when they were figuring out the vaccine, because there's like a
Airborne virus.
yeah, some pathogen in the air on Niflheim, and they were just using him to figure out how to vaccinate everyone.
Nuts.
But yeah, wish we saw a little bit more of them, but is what it is.
Yeah. I did like the layout of the spaceship itself. It was definitely believable. And like kind of like the aura that they had within the ship. And then of course like the captain's quarters was all fancy and glass chandeliers and everything else. It's like very industrial. I did appreciate that. Also the spacecrafts they used to like drive around the planet.
Those were cool.
Or like the ships they were flying. I do appreciate like a little bit of ingenuity in that field, in that front.
I don't know why, I can't imagine a benefit to this design, but for some reason everyone, like, they have double chainsaws.
Yeah.
Like, we see it twice where the criminal boss on Earth cuts someone up with a double chainsaw, and then Nasha almost cuts up Timo with a double chainsaw. But I'm thinking that what is having 2 blades? Like, is that just to look cool?
No, I think that's literally from the boss, from the Earth bad guy. I think he's the guy that only has a double chainsaw, and he hired someone on the plane as well as
Right. Like, one chainsaw would just do the same thing.
It cuts twice as fast, basically. Cuts them to like little chunks.
So you just feel like a little section.
Yeah. There's the criminal boss on Earth. He liked watching this happen.
Yeah.
What did they say about him? Like, he just likes like life draining from people's eyes or something like that, or like pain. Something about them being alive in the
art of death or something like that.
Something weird. I will say the creatures, speaking of them, they were kind of cute.
They were cute, but also disgusting.
I liked them.
At first
I was like, but then I was like,
no, I feel like when you see them from the top, cute. When you see everything going on, I'm like,
boobs, the multiple boobs.
But they're like boobs and legs and like mouth parts and like all mixed together.
Yeah.
As long as you don't look at the bottom, they're cute.
Yeah.
Also, the crime boss on Earth, his name is Darius Blank. But I wrote here, he looks like he's one bathtub slip away from dying. The man was fragile.
He was, yeah. We only see him once when he's like sitting, I guess, in his restaurant,
Yeah.
watching multiples of people get killed and recording it.
Yeah.
I will say, I think one of the two sad scenes in the movie that kind of hurt me was one when the baby creature was just absolutely destroyed and shot up and just parts and bits everywhere. And the second one was when they cut off the tail, chopped it into pieces, and then proceeded to put the hook through the baby creature, and it like screamed. It was like doing a full scream thing, and I was like, oh my god.
They have like this big like lava pit
Which they
where
put dead people into, or like
it recycles all of the that's where they get the material to print out new Mickeys is because of all of this organic material in there. And they're like threatening to drop the baby creeper in there. We do get a little bit of a hint as to like apparently Earth isn't doing that well. Like I don't know, it's because we see like during the scenes early on with Mickey and Timo and like the stuff in the restaurant, like that looks pretty normal. But then when they're like at the space station before liftoff, they're like super casual about a giant sandstorm.
Yeah.
You know, like covers the whole thing with dust, and there's like, we'll just wipe it off.
yeah. There's definitely like Earth is definitely going downhill. Either, you know, huge natural disasters happening frequently, and I'm guessing it was because of global warming. Yeah, the Earth just decided to want to kill itself.
I did think it was funny the before he gets like downloaded or whatever, the I don't know if she was a doctor, but like the person in charge of the expendable program like popped a pimple. It was like, if I don't get rid of that, it'll be there every time. It was like, a good thing she didn't know about the one on my butt.
Also, that scene with her and him in the room kind of made me feel weird.
When she was like trying to get him to shoot himself.
Well, no, not that part. Who cares? No, at one part I thought she was gonna like take off her clothes for some reason.
That is weird.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I think right after that, I think she pulled out the gun and told him to shoot himself. Just strange. Very strange.
Turned out the gun was empty. It was just like a test of faith. Yeah.
Which he didn't pass.
You know, he did not. Also, speaking of the disgusting food
Calorie counter.
Yeah, so first of all of their food, I guess not all of it. They have like these weird little like protein biscuits, and then they just get like gray slop to dip it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that one point, Mickey gets called out for going 7 calories over his ration.
He like grabbed another one, put it on his plate. It's like, man, they're like a huge alarms going off over your calorie limit, and then as punishment, you the amount of calories you get was halved.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god.
I did really like the first time that Mickey meets Nasha. It's like during this huge thing, Marshall's like giving a speech to everyone in the lunchroom, and then they have like this like silent flirting scene where like you can't hear what they're saying to each other, but it felt cute.
Yeah. And then right after that, you get like this little montage of them being, you know, best buddies, and her always being there for him, and
Yeah.
all that jazz, which was cute, especially because she was like a security guard, which usually are like the bad people, but they were good here.
I also think that, I guess, I don't know if sorry, I got sidetracked during my own thought. I wonder if on this ship they have condoms, or if Mickey just has a really good pullout.
Good pull-out game.
I forgot.
Is that your thought?
No, that was the sidetrack. I'm trying to get back to what I was actually thinking.
What a crazy sidetrack thought. I wonder if they have condoms.
Well, because I was thinking about
I never saw them have any condoms.
Nasha and Mickey. And okay, so I also did, for a while, I was honestly kind of rooting for the whole idea of her. I was like, when Kai was like, well, you keep 18 and I'll have 17. I was like, fucking do it.
I was with that too.
For like 2 minutes there, it felt like Nasha was kind of like turning into an asshole because she was like, didn't really care about them as separate people. And it was like, I just want both of them for myself.
Yeah.
But then like we see later, like she does really care about Mickey, and like even like at one point crawled into one of those like chambers with him when he was getting nerve gassed. It was like, she does really love him.
Genuinely does. Yeah. Which I don't understand. Like, he's technically the same person, 17 and 18. So, yeah, I get it. That would be a great intro to a porno.
Having
Like a foursome. Like, oh, they're the same. Not the same.
like the whole movie up until that point, and then it just turns into a porn. That would be wild. Also, I noted this
$118 million porno.
it took 33 minutes before we hit the title card of the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
How did you notice that?
I typed it.
That's nuts.
But yeah, so a lot of movie happens before you actually see the title. But this smaller note here, also at the dinner, to emphasize how gross Marshall was being. At one point, he called her a precious fertile female. Or no, that wasn't at the dinner. That was after Jennifer died. He was getting mad at Mickey for wasting a precious fertile female.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's disgusting.
He was like, you're the expendable. You should have died. Well, he's not an idiot like she was.
Also, I feel like I say this on every movie that we record, so maybe let me know if I'm being a broken record, but I really liked the music. And found out later that the person who composed the music for this movie also did the music for Squid Game.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
I like the Squid Game music way more. But it'd be cool.
why don't you tell him that?
Just did. And he'll listen to this.
Yep, definitely listening to this. I'm a little confused how those baby creepers got into that rock, because it didn't look like it had any holes in it. So, like,
I thought maybe it was like an egg.
it was just a giant egg, not really a rock.
Egg. I don't know.
I felt weird.
A little bit, but
I thought I think his name is Manikova, the serial killer clone guy. That was pretty cool. Like, not cool as in like support that guy, but like it was an interesting sequence.
I agree. It was a good way to show that this great scientific marvel, everything that has a positive side also has a negative.
They
I
also,
think that was a great way to show that.
I feel like at this point, clone effects are flawless. Like when you look at like older movies where there's like multiple of the same person, sometimes you can tell it's like, oh, they used like a screen split here or like face replacement, which is like still the techniques that they do now, but it's just like they're so much better at it, where I feel like the scenes where there's two Robert Pattinsons, couldn't tell which one, like it was,
They're both real.
it's perfect.
They were both actually replicas.
I guess this movie is also a good example of, I don't know if you've heard of like, there's probably a more official name for it, but like the teleporter problem with Star Trek, because in Star Trek they have like the whole like beam me up, Scotty. The teleportation technology that they use is like you turn into a bunch of particles and then reform somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the question is if a teleporter destroys all of your atoms and recreates you somewhere else, is that actually you, or did you just die and this is someone else?
Yeah. I remember that.
And I feel like this movie kind of represents that in a way, because like Mickey even talks about it, is like, well, when I died before, it felt like it was me because I was the one waking up on the table.
Right.
But now if I die, like because I can see 18, I know that it's a separate person.
Right, and then he ends.
Right.
Only 18 will technically be replicated.
Right.
Yeah, so his thoughts are all gone, lost.
So it's just it's a weird thing to think about.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen so many people talk about that. I was like, if that technology existed, would you step into a teleporter?
Yes. I think it would.
I'd take a long way.
No chance.
Timo is the luckiest fucking person in the galaxy. Like, not only he escaped being killed the first time. He managed to get a job as a pilot.
Yeah.
He
He just sails through.
Mickey 18 tries to kill him at one point. He lucks out of that one because other people come down the stairs. And then eventually, the freaking criminal guy does find him, and he manages to win that fight. And I'm like, this dude, he's rolling straight sevens every time.
Yeah. Yeah. He's lucky for sure. I've never heard that saying before. Rolling straight sevens.
Some kind of slot machine.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah, I bet.
I thought Robert Pattinson did a good job at like acting like two different people.
Oh yeah.
Especially like
expressions.
his facial expressions, is like the way he held his body, like he felt like he was like slouching a little more as 17.
The 18 was like all proud.
And then like the voice change especially was pretty impressive. Like he had like a higher squeaky voice with 17 than he did with 18. I do think there was a couple things, and this is like I guess more of a knock, that got just a little repetitive. That like, I don't know, they just like kept emphasizing things that didn't need to be emphasized. Like every time they talked about the drugs, it'd be like you got the oxy.
Oh,
it was like, yeah, I got the uncut stuff. It was like, you have pure unfiltered oxy, and it was like, we get it. But it's like people would just keep saying it over and over again.
like they were super shocked and amazed and
Or like at the end, like
some.
the super on the nose thing where Marshall is like, why do you feel sympathy for these aliens? And then Nasha is like, don't you get it? We're the aliens. They were on this planet first. And I was like, oh gee.
You're like, well, I can't argue that.
I was like, you're not wrong, but come on. I thought when the creepers were doing their like high-pitched scream thing, and then you like see their like glowing eyeballs,
and then
that was the fucking creepiest. Those glowing eyes, not for me.
You like the little tentacle things when they were screaming?
I was too focused on the eyes.
The eyes were like, yeah,
They were like
they were
like long stalks with like, and they were like glowing yellow. I was like, ew.
came to like creepers.
They like I said, they're cute in a lot of the scenes. I don't need to see any of this. Keep it on the top side. I wish we got a little like some sort of hint about the whole like mutiny plot before Act 3. I felt like that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like they were like,
I don't know. I like the surprise reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't really understand the dream sequence at the end. Like,
Oh, when he was sitting in the chair and they were about to destroy the
yeah, right before they're about to destroy the machine, he like falls asleep for a bit and then dreams about Marshall's wife reprinting Marshall on the machine. I was like,
made no sense.
what is this for?
I don't know.
That was a bit weird.
And she was like, yeah, weird. There was like a bowl of blood. I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to trivia.
Let's do it.
I don't have a whole lot. But this is a small thing, but there was a Wilhelm scream. I don't know if you noticed that.
Nope.
I didn't put it in my notes, but after reading the trivia, I remember exactly when it happened. There was a scene. It was when right after the rock was cut and the two creepers got out and everyone's like running around screaming. And there was a scene where like the doors are being closed, and we never even talked about, there's a random guy in this movie who's just always wearing a pigeon suit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what his deal was, but he tries running under one of these doors and it closes on him and there's a Wilhelm scream.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Second and last piece of trivia here. In the film, Alan Manikova is a serial killer who uses a few clones to create his alibis, but in the novel, he clones himself thousands of times and takes over an entire planet.
Holy smokes. That's sick. That's way better. That should have been the reason why they fled Earth.
Well, I feel like that makes it more clear why everyone would treat multiples as a threat. Like, I feel like a serial killer is like, that's bad, but like if someone's like fucking conquered a planet with just clones of themselves, it's like multiples are illegal for sure, yeah.
Told them at every chance you got. Right. Totally agree with that. That's good trivia. I didn't know there was a novel about it either.
Yeah, the novel is called Mickey 7. So it only deals with 7 and 8 rather than 17 and 18. I think during an interview, Bong Joon-ho, the director of, or Joon-ho, I forget his last name. But he said he changed it from 7 to 17 so that he could kill Mickey 10 more times.
Yeah. I liked it. It was cool. It was cool. Well, I guess on to
Get wrecked.
Get Wrecked. I could not think of that.
I was seeing how long it took you.
It would take a long while because I was blank. I was like, well, on the way over here, I was actually listening to 90.1 KERA, National Public Radio. Highly recommend it because that's a rec also.
All right.
But like, with that, because I know like it's not a religious channel by any means, but when I was tuned in this morning, it was like, I tuned in like mid conversation about like religion and stuff like that. And I was like, what is going on right now? And it was actually, one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to besides our own. It's called Radio Lab, and they have for each of the 10 commandments, because of the Easter, they have a podcast about each of the 10 commandments, and like they go into depth of like what the part I was listening to. They were interviewing like, I guess a preacher that's also in the military, and like the dichotomy between like preaching for life but also being in the military and like talking to soldiers and trying to help them, because like, you know, killing is bad, but also like you're a preacher in the military telling them, I don't know, it's like a weird thing, but it's pretty cool. It'll be on their website, on their podcast, so give that a listen. It was really interesting.
I also remember reading somewhere that there's actually like more than 10 commandments, and there's just like, depending on the translation, they get like combined in different ways. I don't know if they talked about that in that podcast.
No, I think they just said that there's the 10 commandments, that they had 10 podcasts about each of them, which I thought was cool.
But
that's
like
my rec.
But like one of the 10 commandments is just like telling Moses where to hang the 10 commandments so that everyone can see them.
That's pretty cool.
Whereas like people don't normally include that one.
No. Nice.
My rec, I'm gonna anti-rec something for a second, but actually earlier thought about mentioning that the second season of Last of Us just started, but I've been watching it and I'm not impressed.
Anti-rec, don't. Actually, that is a rec. Don't watch it.
If you want to play either of the Last of Us games, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
The first season was all right. It wasn't bad, but I also was just kind of like, okay.
I got you. Sweet.
Okay, well. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family about us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell icon. Otherwise, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. You can also follow us on Bluesky and Instagram at CashFanPod. If you want to send us a message, you can DM us, leave a comment, or send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Links for all of those are in the description. What kind of messages can they send us?
You guys can send us messages relating to movies that you want us to review, to shows that you guys may want us to talk about and review, things that you like about the podcast, things that you think we could improve on, or things that you think we could add, or just honestly your own opinion of the movies that we review. That'd be really fun for us to listen to and or watch, and leave comments if you like what we do, and yeah, tell your friends and family about us.
And on that note, this has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.